Melissa Lucio's execution has been halted by Texas appeals court. A Texas appeals court on Monday delayed the execution of Melissa Lucio amid growing doubts about whether she fatally beat her 2-year-old daughter in a case that has generated support of lawmakers, celebrities, and even some of the jurors who sentenced her to death. A Texas Court of Criminal Appeals granted a request by Lucio's lawyers for a stay of execution so a lower court can review her claims that new evidence would exonerate her. It was not immediately known when the lower court would begin reviewing her case. Lucio had been set for lethal injection on Wednesday, which is today, for the 2007 death of her daughter Mariah in Harlingen, Texas. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals stepped in just 2 days before Lucio was scheduled to die by lethal injection. In its decision, the state court ordered the Cameron County Trial Court to consider new evidence presented by Lucio's legal team. The attorneys brought forth 9 claims. The court decided 4 of them met the requirements for a stay. The stay order states, "We therefore remand those claims to the trial court for a merits review. Execution is stayed pending resolution of the remanded claims." Bobby Alvarez is one of Lucio's sons. The family says now they can turn their attention to celebrating Mother's Day with their mother still alive. We were talking about it today, actually, of what we were going to do for Mother's Day. I know she wants lots of cards. We are going to continue visiting her, seeing her, doing what we have been doing, and waiting for her to come out. Over the weekend, there were multiple rallies and events throughout North Texas and beyond aimed at raising awareness of Lucio's appeal. Prosecutors have maintained that the girl was the victim of abuse and noted that her body was covered in bruises. Lucio's lawyers say Mariah died from injuries she sustained in a fall down a steep staircase several days before she died. I am grateful the court has given me the chance to live and prove my innocence, Lucio said in a statement provided by her lawyers. Mariah is in my heart today and always. I am grateful to have more days to be a mother to my children and a grandmother to my grandchildren. I will use my time to help bring them to Christ. I am deeply grateful for everyone who prayed for me and spoke out on my behalf. The execution stay was announced minutes before the Texas Board of Pardons and Paroles had set to consider Lucio's clemency application to either commute her death sentence or grant her a 120-day reprieve. Lucio's attorneys say her capital murder conviction was based on an unreliable and coerced confession that was the result of relentless questioning and her long history of being physically and emotionally abused. They say Lucio wasn't allowed to present evidence questioning the validity of her confession. Her lawyers also contended that unscientific and false evidence misled jurors into believing that Mariah's injuries could have been caused only by abuse and not by medical complications from a severe fall. It would have shocked the public's conscience for Melissa to be put to death based on false and incomplete medical evidence for a crime that never even happened, said Vanessa Potkin, one of Lucio's attorneys who is with the Innocence Project. All of the new evidence of her innocence has never before been considered by any court. The court stay allows us to continue fighting alongside Melissa to overturn her wrongful conviction. A spokeswoman for Cameron County District Attorney Luis Sanez, whose office prosecuted the case, did not immediately return an email seeking comment. In its 3-page order, the appeals court asked that the trial court in Brownsville that handled Lucio's case review 4 claims her lawyers have made: whether prosecutors under false evidence to convict her, whether previously unavailable scientific evidence would have prevented her conviction, whether she is actually innocent, and whether prosecutors suppressed evidence that would have been favorable in her defense. During a sometimes contentious Texas House Committee hearing on Lucio's case this month, Sanez had said he disagreed with Lucio's lawyer's claims that new evidence would exonerate her. Prosecutors say Lucio had a history of drug abuse and at times had lost custody of some of her 14 children. More than half the members of the Texas legislature had asked that her execution be halted. A bipartisan group of state lawmakers traveled this month to Gatesville, where the state houses female death row inmates, and prayed with Lucio. One of those lawmakers, El Paso Democratic State Rep Joe Moody, tweeted that he was relieved for Lucio. The state confirms that what we have said all along, Melissa Lucio shouldn't be on death row, he wrote. 5 of the 12 jurors who sentenced Lucio and one alternate juror have questioned their decision and asked that she get a new trial. Lucio's case has also had the backing of faith leaders and celebrities such as Kim Kardashian, and it was featured on HBO's Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Former Dallas County Prosecutor Russell Wilson is not associated with the case, but he says the stay does not automatically mean there will be a new trial. There is still substantial work left in the case to determine whether or not there will be a new trial. He said, the lower court just makes a recommendation, and the Court of Criminal Appeals that are the ones that finally decide that issue. While politicians and celebrities have spoken out about Lucio's alleged innocence, Wilson says the appeals court made their ruling based on new facts and not public pressure. Bringing the science together, what we know now versus what we know then, he said, at the time her case being tried, there was a lot more confidence placed in law enforcement. Over time, we've seen that confidence maybe was inaccurate. The techniques used were likely to produce inaccurate results, so the information for those cases have been brought forward. Lucio's lawyer also wants the Cameron County DA removed from trial if there is a new case. So this is good news. I don't see any problem with pausing it if there's any question at all that she's innocent. I do think this needs to be looked at again. So I'll keep you updated as these updates come in. This is going to be an interesting 120 days. Thank you for watching, and y'all have a good day.